What's going on? What's going on? We are back in the building one more time. Glad to be in the service one more time. We here to talk about the interior offensive line. I enjoy watching this. I enjoy watching these big boys, man. Um, it gave me a little bit more understanding about how this draft is going to go. It was interesting, though. Now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I kind of did it half half. I believe that it was half centers, half guards on my split up. And it was some interesting findings. Some interesting findings. Some interesting findings. But we're going to dig straight into this, y'all. You're right. I don't think you're right. It draft, shoot. Way this draft looking, I don't think you could say nobody. Way this draft is looking. But we're gonna dig into this. Let's just get straight into this, y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I know y'all want to get straight to the nitty gritty. So the first interior offensive lineman that I looked at is Jackson Powers Johnson, 6'3", 320 from Oregon. One thing that I noticed about Jackson Powers Johnson is he's a very good athlete for the position. He can get to the second and third level. And I believe that he has an athleticism to be able to make the necessary blocks at that second and third level. Zone scheme preferred for him, but he could play multiple schemes. One thing in watching Jackson Powers Johnson was that I seen the Washington nose guard stand him up on more than one occasion, and I did not like that regarding him. And the way that people was describing him is that he was just one of the best prospects coming out of that center position. Shoot, since what? You probably could say Travis Frederick. Shoot, and that wasn't the case. That was very disappointing to see how he got stood up on multiple occasions by that Washington nose guard. That was very disappointing. One thing about him, though, to me, I say he's overrated, but overrated not as he's a bad player because he's a good player. And to be honest with you, he has the traits to probably still end up being a Pro Bowl type center. I seen that he had a lot of injury concerns. I believe he's been banged up throughout his whole career, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe I heard that he got banged up at the Senior Bowl. But one thing about Jackson Powers Johnson is that he opens up big creases. I believe he needs to get stronger, especially in the core. He has that swagger, though, like he's him. And like I mentioned earlier, he is a good player. But if you're going to walk around like you him, you need to play like you him every single play. And not getting stood up by that Washington nose tackle. But there is some plays where he seemed like, how could I explain it? Like, oh, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, man, I can do this thing with minimum effort. There was some plays where he seemed kind of lazy to me. Like he knew that even with just the minimum effort that he can go ahead and get that block. And I don't like that either. I need max effort every play, every game. But he has good awareness when helping. He finishes blocks, good timing on combo blocks. His strength, it's solid enough. But one thing I did notice is that he don't have that shock in his hands, though. He don't got that shock in his hands that will knock you off like a Travis Frederick in the past. He don't have that shock in his hands. There was times where that pad level was kind of high. I didn't see. He's not really a good bender, a good knee bender, right? My question is, can he get laterally to reach consistently? Right? Because I think the lateral quickness, though, is probably about average. You know, I think a more for his athleticism is going forward, but I think his athleticism in regards to his lateral agility, I think that's like average for somebody like him. Mm. Like I said, NFL starter for sure. Good player, but not great. But because the standards of the NFL ain't great, I wouldn't be surprised that if he played a nice little season in the future, that he could make a Pro Bowl or two. But yeah, that's where I'm at with Jackson Powers Johnson. All right. My next prospect, Troy Fontanu, if I'm not mistaken. 6'4", 317 Washington. Now, in regards to him, it's more of people. Now, when I looked at his arm length, because people said that he has short arms, and I looked at his arms and it was 34 and a half. I'm like, that's cool enough for a tackle. So I said, let me watch him. To be honest with you, I think probably his best thing was beefing up and sliding inside. But one thing about Troy from Washington, who is 6'4", 317 with them 34.5-inch arms, is that he's a violent helper. I believe he needs to fatten up, kick him inside. I believe in kicking him aside that he probably will have an advantage in the interior. His athleticism will probably be a whole lot better for him in the interior. But I think if you stayed outside, I think that you will probably find maybe an average at best tackle. His athleticism for a tackle is probably average, to be honest with you. But when it comes down to guard, it's above average, borderline good. So I put in my notes. But he is a good puller. I put that he gets beat a lot, especially against Utah when he overextends. Got to correct that. He gets to the second level, and when he gets there, at minimum, he will get a piece. And a lot of that kind of exposed him at tackle, which probably would go better for him in regards to getting to the second level when he's at guard and everything's in front. And he ain't got to work with that space that he will have to work with at tackle. But he needs to get stronger. And I believe if he gets stronger and / bigger, he will improve a lot. But the technique is sloppy. The Utah ends definitely gave him some problems. When he uses his length the correct way, he does good. His anchor could be a lot better, but that will improve, especially as he gets stronger. He does misses with his hands, and he doesn't recover. He be getting pushed back, y'all. He do. So when they get to talking about this boy, man, tell him to tell you about how he be getting pushed back. Because he be getting pushed back, y'all. But being inside will probably help him tremendously. I also put that he didn't have that shock in his hands. And this pick will probably be based off of potential. As I continue to go along and look at these players, I'm looking at a whole lot of people overrating these players. Just being honest. Graham Barton, 6'5", 314, Duke. Had a 32-inch wingspan. So, that's center. When you get to talk about the 32 inches, that's more aligned with center, right? Because he will have a hard time with that 32-inch wingspan at tackle if somebody was to keep him there. But versatility all throughout the line. I actually went back to watch the center tape. I'll be talking to you a little bit about his center tape, his freshman year, because that's a little bit separate. But a lot of the things that I'm going to talk to you about regarding this player is what I observed at offensive tackle, specifically the left. He's for sure a center. Them short arms definitely gave him some trouble. But one thing I like about Graham Barton is that he stays on the block. He also gets some push in the run game, which I love. Now, when he went against Jared Verse, he actually did pretty good. He actually did pretty good when he went against Jared Verse. And I'm like, this player that has to kick inside against probably the best defensive end in this class that I watched, and he did good. That bodes well for how it could translate inside, because we know the majority of what the work that he has done was on the outside. But he gave Jared Verse some good work though. Uh, he kind of lacks a little bit of knee bend though, but the way he plays, I don't believe that'll be too much of a problem for him. I like the way he finishes blocks. Got a little edge to him. Strong at the point of attack. He got good grip strength. I put that he did well for being out of place on the edge. In shorter space, it'll be a whole lot better for him. On film, seen him made a nice reach block at that tackle position. Nice reach block. Look, what he did at left tackle, like I said, will translate very well in the inside, dealing with shorter space. And look, if you could go ahead and be good at left tackle with that short wingspan, I can most definitely believe that you're going to be good at center. I like Graham Barton. Think he's a good player. Can make blocks in space. He gets to the second level, good size. He's more of that power center, that I was talking about for the Dallas Cowboys. His contact balance, though, it definitely can improve, but it's not bad. Now, when I talk to y'all about center, I watched the center game versus Miami. I like the angles that he was taking, good awareness. He was aggressive at the center position. At that time, I've seen the lateral quickness was above average, which is very good in regards to how he's built. Zone scheme that was ran, he did good with them angles and when he was running that zone scheme. So Graham Barton, I like Graham Barton. That's a good player. It's a good player. Zach Frazier, West Virginia, 6'3", 310. In the Penn State game, he got pushed back some. He stays on his block and he finishes, though. He's an okay athlete, but he definitely has his limitations. He also goes to the second level, but only gets a piece at times, which is good enough in most cases, though, but there's going to be some times where you need to get the whole thing, not just a piece. Lateral agility, from my observations, is average. When it's time to get off the football and get them tough yards, he definitely gets movement off the line. And watching him as a whole, he looks like a serviceable center. When watching him, I'm like, it's not looking like he has the athleticism to be able to cut off a lot of the super athletic defenders consistently, because he did struggle some reaching. He is a good helper, tight hip, positional blocker. My question was, can he handle them penetrating D tackles consistently? Right? Simmons, Chris Jones. Well, he ain't got to worry about Aaron Donald no more. He gone. But tackles, right? Because there's some D tackles, man, that's going to fit this mold that's coming out in this draft that's probably going to develop. I put he handles stunts well, but I seen that he got fooled on a delayed blitz. I put weight room will do him some good. Pretty much, man. I'm laughing at my notes. I said he needed to be stronger so he could anchor down like a man. But yeah, that's pretty much with him. Seems serviceable to me. He wasn't all that, but serviceable. Cooper Beebe, 6'4", 335, Kansas State. It's a mauler right here. Phone booth type of guard. He's strong. You ain't gonna overpower Cooper Beebe. You're not. I did see at times he did let some defenders cross face in the run, and I put the example was against Texas. He has a strong base, strong grip strength. When I pull, I think probably would be preferable for him is the shorter pulls. Uh, he's moved better in space at the second level than probably one would think, in regards to going forward. I actually put that I'd rather him come forward than making him move laterally. Um, I put that laterally he's slow. Any old lineman that will make him move his feet will give him a headache. He's a box player, a power scheme ideally, but he can play in the zone, inside zones for him. But that's Cooper Beebe, just straight to the point. Big guy. He's pretty much, if you remember everybody that said about Azila, what's his name? Avila, Chris Avila from TCU last year. Cooper Beebe is what they thought that Chris Avila was, and he wasn't. But Cooper Beebe is. You need that powerful guard. You need them big boy, somebody that's going to get off and get some mauling done. Cooper Beebe is your guy. Christian Haynes now, 6'2", 313, Connecticut. One thing I like about Christian Haynes is he hustles in space. I like his lateral quickness. It was some good lateral quickness. Too high at times, but like to see more bend, getting stronger and getting some technique work can have him be one of the better guards in the NFL. Good puller. He gets home, finishes blocks, above average athlete. Hand placement can be better, but in watching Christian Haynes from the tape that I seen that you can have an NFL starter with Christian Haynes. I like Christian Haynes. He's solid to me. Let's see. Let me go. Yeah. Cedric Van Pran Granger. Georgia, 6'4", 310. Inside zone type of center, needs work on his base, not a knee bender. Needs to anchor down better, but he is strong. Gets movement in the run game, doesn't get pushed back. Nasty finisher. Strong grip strength, solid puller. Turns defenders and washes them down. Decent second level blocker, decent athlete. Contact balance / core strength needs some improving. He's a starting quality center. How will he adjust to more athletic defenders is a question mark that I have. Lateral agility. May got some question marks there. But I think Cedric Van Pran Granger is a starting caliber center as well. So, to all my teams that need centers, especially the Dallas Cowboys, even if you didn't get a center in the first round where you're picking, don't worry because you will be able to find a starting quality center in his draft. So that's one thing that you can sleep at night and understand that you can find you a quality center in his draft. Dominique Puny, if I'm saying his name right, 6'5", 320, Kansas, needs to bring feet under him. He seems gentle. I'll be honest with you. He seems gentle to me. But he flips his hips well, not aggressive. Hands too low at times when engaging. When I did see him time to pass a stunt well against K-State, he did it well. Didn't really see that knee bend from him, but he moves well for size. And he got solid lateral agility. He is a guard. So if there's any questions about him, he's definitely a guard. 33, I believe I put 3/8 inches in the arms. If he's soft, that's going to limit him a lot. He just seems so gentle to me, y'all. He just seems so gentle to me. So gentle. But that's all I got for him. Now, Drake Nugent, 6'2", 301, Michigan, our last player, needs to get stronger. 10 pounds, we're probably doing good. Had a solid game when he played against Bama. It was very technical. He does get overpowered at times. Always in the right position. Technician. He seems he's more of a technician. Probably the most technically sound center that I've seen, that I watched so far. Can't put Graham Barton in there because he was playing tackle, but so far out of all the centers I've seen, he was the most technically sound. He gets good leverage on short yardage situations. He gets some movement, some good lateral agility. He gets to the second level well. To me, he can make all the blocks on the second level for how I see, plus the way that he moves. His snapping is crisp. Boy has some crisp snapping. It was some good snap. I'm like, oh, that snap kind of crisp, baby. I put, man, look, technique right now, even though he needs to get stronger, if you got that good technique, that's going to win you a lot of snaps. That technique over athleticism any day. I'll take the technically sound. I'll take the technician. He got good core strength, stays on his block, 33-inch arms. He's a champion. Was the head of one of the better rushing attacks in college. Good at reach blocking and got some knee bend to him. I like him because I think if you put some strength, get Drake Nugent in that weight room, you also got you a starting quality guard. I like Drake Nugent. I seen at the Dallas Cowboys interview the Georgia center. What's his name? Van Pran. I like him. He's solid center. You're gonna get you a starting center. But I like the Michigan center. But let me give you my top 5. Let's not forget. Let me give my top 5. My top 5 is Graham Barton, Powers Johnson, Christian Hayes, Cooper Beebe, Drake Nugent. But you probably, to be honest with you, because even though Cooper Beebe's stronger, I probably would switch Drake Nugent and Cooper Beebe. I did have an honorable mention, Cedric Van Pran. Honorable mention. But that's how I ranked these big boys from what I see. Now, this is probably now watching as far as top to bottom, the interior offensive lineman was probably the strongest group as far as depth-wise in what I watched so far in scouting these players. So you can find your interior. So you can look at it like this. Tyler Smith. If we had to, which is a high possibility now. I've already started on the tackles. I've watched the Arizona tackle. I'm ready to watch this Penn State tackle. Now, that Arizona tackle, I just put it here in the tackle. I just put it. I probably could have went on the head and talked to him to y'all as a guard, to be honest with you. But we'll dig into that when I get ready to present for them. But he's not a tackle. He's not a tackle. But like I said, so far the guards was probably one of the most deeper positions that I've watched as far as having quality players. You know, because been watching this, it's kind of been hit or miss a lot of the times with these players, man. You probably get like a couple of them, but the rest is just like, potential, you know. And you got some potential. So if you looking to acquire more players, if you need whatever the case may be, because the Dallas Cowboys is going to go offensive line in here, probably twice. But you know for sure they're going to have to get this center. Because there ain't no other way that you're going to go about this center position other than drafting him. So let's make sure that we draft the starter. And there's a couple centers out here that can start for the Dallas Cowboys. Preferably for what the Dallas Cowboys need and what they need to do, whether it be with Dak Prescott or any other quarterback that come in here, whether it be youth or whatever kind of movement they got. I've always said that the Dallas Cowboys need a power center. And I think that center that fits the bill the best from what we talked about just now is Graham Barton. I think with Graham Barton, if the Dallas Cowboys was able to acquire him, which I believe is a strong possibility that they can, that's the move that you got to turn in. If Darius and Kool-Aid gone, man, you got to turn that name in. Now the Dallas Cowboys is in a position probably where they're gonna have to go ahead and draft for need. Now here's my thing. I don't want two rookies on this offensive line this year. I can get by with my rookie center with Graham Barton, but having two rookies starting, I don't think I want that this year. Especially if they claim that they're still trying to compete. If they're still trying to compete and still trying to go deep, it doesn't make sense. Now, if you see two rookies that start on this offensive line, that tells me even more to convince. I believe I've seen this comment about this rebuild. Yeah, Rich, they rebuild. If they going for two rookies on the offensive line, that kind of screams a little bit of rebuild. So that's a possibility. But this team can't afford two rookies. They're going to have to acquire. They're going to have to do something. But they can't do that. It's the draft. You could use your future picks, next year's picks, this year's picks. So the Dallas Cowboys still have options and still have creativity that they can do in regards to player acquisition. So it ain't over. So that's why when you hear me talk about them, I don't talk to y'all in a defeatist mindset. I talk to y'all like, all right, we're going to see. And this next month is going to tell you everything you need to know about this team. And then we can give you an accurate depiction on how this team is going to look and what's their plan, what's the goal for this year. And I'm telling y'all right now, if I haven't told y'all before, I believe my three players so far in this first round, if they're available, I'm going Kool-Aid, I'm going Darius Robertson, and I'm going Graham Barton. Those are my top three so far in first round acquisitions. I believe Darius Robertson. I was watching who he gave work to, and that gave me even further. And I know we talk about interior guards, but I think it was Cooper Beebe when it was going against Missouri. He gave that boy work getting up field. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to see. I like Darius Robinson, man. Hey, look, man, I know he played in, but look, a man that's really a D tackle that's playing in and that had what, damn near 8 sacks, if not 8 sacks there, or was it 10? It was one of them. 8 to 10 sacks, man. That tells you something. I like Darius Robinson, but we talking about these guards though. But it's how you want to go. Now we know the Dallas Cowboys need to be able to run this football. And I believe with a power center like Graham Barton, I believe that he can come in right away and start and be productive for this team. If we're just being honest, I like Graham Barton. He's somebody that can be versatile for you. If you needed a guard, he probably could play some guard for you, even though he got 32-inch arms. He can still probably play that guard position for you. Yeah, man, that's kind of where I'm at in regards to that. Now we're looking at the tackles because I'm telling you, the tackles is probably going to tell us everything we need to know in regards to how this thing is going to play out. But yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. I'm going to get this week. We're getting to work. We want to finish up these tackles and then look at these running backs and see what's going on. But all right, y'all, man, that's my presentation for today. Hope you guys got a little bit better understanding of these prospects. Now I know a lot of these scouts, and I know a lot of these some of these content creators out here capping. They ain't doing the work, because if they were doing the work, then or either they doing the work or they don't understand what they see. You got to understand what you see. Just like you can read a book, you can read a how-to book, I can read a book about, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but if I don't really understand Rich Dad, Poor Dad, how could I apply it to my life? How could I go here and present you this information and present it to my life and apply the information? You got to understand what you're reading, just like you got to understand when you're looking at these prospects, what you're seeing. That's why I don't consume when they talk about these prospects. I don't want them telling me nothing. I want to go ahead and form my own opinion. Sometimes I look at other scouting reports and see if it aligns with mine, but more than likely, I'm not looking because I want my own opinion, because I trust my own opinion. I trust my own views in regards to looking at this. I've been around football 20 plus years, so I know a little something, don't you think, when it comes down to talent? But yeah, man, That's my time. We'll be doing these offensive tackles next. I've already started on them, and we're gonna continue working, y'all. But all right, y'all. Till next time, we gone.